I'm still running, checking for leaks. And after I put the cabinet doors on, I close the doors like that. And I could have remembered exactly where they were before. But see how the height is pretty much the same now. After I put this one in, I remembered this one, the hinges were shoved right down on top of the screws. So I made this one the same. And then I closed the doors. This one was way down too low. So I undid the mounting screws, you know, the ones that I just put in. And I lifted the cabinet door up, and sure enough, it went up about 1/4 inch. And then I tightened it back down. I made sure that this one was pushed down as far as it was. This cabinet door had to be pushed up as far, and then it lined up. Okay, so do some, you know, don't just put the cabinet doors back on, screw them, say, okay, that's fine, that's how they were before. Check it all out, make it look right. This is all nicely cleaned out now. I'm going to clean out, you know, just the green stuff here and throw that away. And I'm checking for leaks. And this right here, you can take a paper towel, shine your flashlight down there, feel on there, and see if there's any water. And if you think there's some water, you can use your rag, by the way, dry this up. And after we put this trap back on, the trap had water on it. Okay? Make sure there's no water visible on there, because if something drips, you might think, oh shoot, it's dripping, and maybe it's just a little bit of water that was on here, and it trickled down to here, and then it dripped. Because I felt some dampness right there just then, and I think that's maybe what happened. And so I'm going to keep running it. I'm going to check it out again here before I try to tighten this up anymore. Okay? If you do experience a leak and you tighten this about as tight as you think you can before you crack that, you know, you might have to take the trap back off and put some Teflon tape on the threads. Now this video, I'm not just going to show you how to put Teflon tape on. I'm hoping actually I don't have to do that. I shouldn't have to, but you know, when you start working with things that are 10 to 15 years old, sometimes you have to do different things. So if this keeps dripping, I'd have to pull this off, wrap the threads on the top part with Teflon tape going in the same direction as the nut, as I tighten up the nut, and then put it all back on there. I could have done that initially, but lots of times, you know, sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. So if you have Teflon tape and you want to go through the effort to do that on all your threads, you can. Or put it up and tighten it all up and then do your water test like I'm doing now and see what happens. Because the last thing you want is to call it just to say, oh yeah, you know what, it's fine. I've got as tight as I can. VideoJoe says it should be fine. And then later on, you come underneath the sink and it's been dripping. One drip every, you know, 20 seconds or something. And now you've got this nice little indentation here in your particle board or your melamine, or you start smelling musty smell there, and it's not, you know, it's all because the nut needed to have Teflon tape on it, or it wasn't tight enough, or maybe it had a hairline crack in it and you didn't know. You know, it could be all kinds of stuff. So make sure before you call it 100%, do the water test. Well, now that I got that sink unplugged and fixed, what am I going to show you next time? Maybe we'll talk about these cabinet knobs, these cabinet handles. Doesn't that look nice? Well, I've got some tips. I'm not going to show you how to install anything because all of these are here. But believe it or not, none of these were here on these cabinets. These cabinets are over 12 years old. You would think there's a finger pull underneath here to pull these cabinet drawers out, the cabinet doors. Nothing. There's no pulls. So before these were installed, you had to put your fingers under there. And look, this was a heavy cabinet drawer because of all the silverware and stuff. I hated opening that up every time coming to see Motha, but Momi and I, we put these on, and I'll show you I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. It's not just about screwing some handles on. There's lots of things you have to take into consideration, and I'll talk about that next time. Yes, it's all about tips. See this hat right here? Looks pretty clean, doesn't it? When you have your hats, when they get dirty, throw them in the dishwasher. Make sure you put it in there nicely. Don't put it over something else. And you know what? In some places, some stores, I don't know where exactly, they have this thing that you can put your hat in, a little plastic tray thing, and then you can fold it over there and kind of snap it and then throw it in. But I just leave it like this, and then after the regular cycle, even after the heating cycle, you can pull it out. I did it after the regular cleaning cycle, and now it's all clean. I'm just going to set it here and let it dry. I've seen people actually put it in the washing machine too, but then it's gonna, I don't know, it might mark it up a little bit, or it might not last as long. It might get out of shape or whatever, but I wouldn't recommend throwing it in a dryer or anything, okay? There's a tip for you. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.